I'm a huge fan of British brands. I'm a huge fan of British style. When I get a new British brand in for review, I'm usually very excited about it. I have a new brand to show you guys. It's called Sortie, and they're making a pilot's watch that is just a little bit different from everything else on the market. And of course, I love that. This is a little bit quirky of a design. I have one hands-on. I'm very excited to show you guys. The one that I have is a full DLC coating, so including that bracelet. This is an all black watch, but with that being said, it still looks British and it still looks classy. So let's flip the camera and take a look at a brand new watch from a brand called Sortie. Not all micro brands are created equal. There are a lot of brands that go for value for money. So you're not always getting the best components. You're not getting Swiss construction. You're not getting all of the best that they can put into a watch. They're considering the price. They're trying to keep the price low. And in most cases, you're getting a lot for your money, but you're not getting the feel and the fit, finishing quality of a luxury watch. And sometimes when a micro brand goes in the other direction and they're trying to give you something higher end, they're offering you a lot for your money. When you feel this watch in hand, you're going to notice a notable difference between this and a standard $500, $1,000 micro brand. This is more expensive. It's pretty much double the price of a normal micro brand, but you are getting a lot for your money here. Not only in the fit, finish, and quality, but also the overall design. And there's some pretty quirky design elements to this watch that you normally don't see, and I like that. This is a full DLC coated watch. So the entire case and bracelet and clasp are in a DLC coating. You have a black sunburst dial. So this is black on black and it looks very stealthy. This gets a movement that you don't see very often. This gets the Sellita SW290, which is a small seconds movement with a date. However, the way that this is laid out, you have the date at the 9 o'clock position. That date is really dynamic. You have a turquoise hand on there. So you have a hand that has a little bit of lume on it and it's in turquoise. And then you have this layered subdial. And the subdial has black at the center. You have white for the markers, and then there is a surround around it in silver. So lots of little details just in that one subdial. You have a beautiful date window, which normally I would never say beautiful and date window in the same sentence, but it balances out that 9 o'clock subdial, that sub-seconds. It works well and actually makes this watch look more complicated than it actually is, even though it's just really a time and seconds with date. But it looks a little bit more complicated because you have that date window and that small seconds, and they are on either side of the dial. I like the way it looks. I like the layout in general. You have applied indices. Those are filled with lume. And then you have a minute track that is outboard of that. Right at the bottom of the dial, it just says the name of this watch, which is the BH1000. It's in turquoise blue because it matches that seconds hand and also that date. So that date just has two hash marks next to it. That's in a similar blue color. Kind of ties the dial together. I really like that. And then it says below that automatic and 15 atmospheres. So this is 150 meters of water resistance. So this is a true sports watch. You have a very large crown on here, which is screwed in, and you have a screwed in case back, and you get to see that Sellita SW290 from the back. The bracelet is beautiful on this watch, and there's a little detail that I really like that I haven't seen from any other brand before. And it's definitely something I would like to see again. So you have a multi-link bracelet here. You have polishing and brushing. You have very large screws, so it's a screwed in link system, and it's really nice. But you have a clasp on here that has on the fly micro adjust, and you can see it is really thin. But what's interesting about it is that it is a manual adjustment that basically you are squeezing a quick release. So you have quick release on the end links. You have solid end links, of course. But what they've done is they've made a very simple version of a quick release system here that is also not a quick release system. It is an on-the-fly micro adjustment. So you can see it moves around and then it clicks in. So all you need to do is use it as if you were taking your strap off or your bracelet off at an end link. You have these two tabs that you would just squeeze together like a normal strap or bracelet. However, it's actually a micro adjust. And the benefit of that is that there are no springs. Well, except for the spring bar that is holding it in there. Take a look how thin the profile is on this. I really love the overall design here. You have these curved lugs, there's polishing, there's brushing. It's really nicely finished. You have a very high boxed sapphire crystal, which gives it a little bit of a vintage feel, but this is definitely a modern watch. Overall, I like the aesthetic. A very large crown on here as well, which is signed with the brand name. Measurements on this watch, it measures in at 40 millimeters, so basically 38 or 39.8 millimeters, excuse me. And then you have around a 47.5 millimeter lug to lug, 12 millimeter thickness. You have a very large crown, like I was saying before, which is around 7 millimeters. So very easy to wind, very easy to unscrew the crown, really nice. However, it wears smaller than that because it's black. So the entire case is black. Visually, when it's on your wrist, it actually looks a lot smaller. Let me show it to you on my wrist in 1 second. Today on wrist, I have the Casio Edifice Automatic. Review for this dropping pretty soon on my channel. I've had it for a while, never made a video about it, but video coming out soon. And there is the Sortie BH1000 on my 7.5 inch wrist. It looks really good. This is a 40 millimeter watch, so 39.8 millimeters. But like I said, it's in full black DLC, so it looks slightly smaller. Although you do have that large crown on there, which does add a little bit to the overall size, but I think it wears smaller. I think it wears like a 38.5, maybe a 39 millimeter. It looks that way on wrist because it's in full DLC coating. I think it looks amazing. I have a 7.5 inch wrist. This has around a 47.5 millimeter lug to lug, and then the thickness is just around 12 millimeters thick. That's including that sapphire crystal, which is really boxed. So you have a very boxed, high boxed domed sapphire crystal. If you measure it at the center, it comes out to around 12 millimeters thick, 12.1 millimeters thick, but it doesn't wear that thick because obviously most of that is crystal. Not most of that, some of that is crystal. Lume is decent on here. There is a good amount of lume on the hand, so the hour and minutes. There is no lume on the seconds hand. I would like to see a little bit of lume on the seconds hand so that I could see my watch is working in the dark. That is a pet peeve of mine, and I bring that up very often here on my channel, but that is something personal to me. The indices are filled with lume. Some of the other elements are filled with lume as well. There could be a little bit more lume on those indices. The hands are very bright, but the indices are fading pretty quickly. Price on this watch is $1,999. Yes, that is expensive. You are getting a lot of watch for the money. This is Swiss made, so it does say Swiss made on the dial. And when you feel this watch, you will notice the difference in quality, especially when you unscrew the crown and you set the time. It feels really, really nice. And the overall fit, finish, and quality of this watch is a step above a lot of other micro brands. And that's kind of what they were going for with this watch. They wanted to go for something a little bit better than what you are seeing from other brands, and they have achieved it. However, that comes at a cost, and that cost is around $2,000. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of what they have done? Do you think it's worth the money? I want to hear from you guys. I'll put a link to their website down in the description below. Definitely check out their website because what they are doing is pretty cool, and I think they are trying to make themselves a little bit more than just a micro brand. They're trying to be more like an independent brand, and it takes a lot to do that, so I think they are on their way there. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I'll catch you guys in the next.